Hi guys, Miss Vincent here today, and we're going to spend just a short amount of time looking at what we need to do when we want to add and subtract decimals. So let's practice some of these addition and subtraction with a decimal in my number. And probably the most important thing to remember is I need to keep my decimals lined up. Last year, your teachers probably said, line up your decimals. And I'm just saying, keep my decimals in a straight row. So if I have a math problem, like 5 1/10 plus 16 3/10, I need to be sure when I write it that my decimals are in a straight line. So I'm going to put 5 1/10. And when I go to put the 16 3/10 below it, I'm going to be sure that my decimals are in a straight line. And again, I'm talking about being certain that my decimals right here are in a straight line. So I'm going to just bring my decimals straight down, and then I just do plain normal addition. 3 plus 1 is 4. 6 plus 5 gives me 11. Carry the 1. 1 plus 1 gives me 2. And my answer is 21 4/10. Let's try a subtraction. What if I have 16.35? That would be 16 35/100 minus 4 12/100. So when I write them, I'm going to line up the decimals. So I'm going to have 16.35 minus, I'm lining it up, 4.12. And again, I'm being certain that my decimals are in a straight line here. So I just bring down my decimal and I do normal subtraction. 5 minus 2 is 3. 3 minus 1 is 2. 6 minus 4 is 2. And 1 take away nothing is 1. My answer is 12.23, or 12 23/100. The only other thing that sometimes becomes a problem is when I don't have anything in the place value that I need to subtract from. And an example would be like 3 8/10 minus 1 24/100. Now remember, in subtraction, I can't change my order, so my 3 8/10 still has to come first. I'm still going to line up my decimals, but I'm subtracting. And again, guys, notice my decimals are in a straight line here. But when I go to subtract, I don't have anything to subtract that 4 from. I'm going to have to put a 0 here that's making it in an equivalent decimal. So 3 8/10 is really equal to the same amount as 3 80/100. They're equal. And I've made it equivalent so that I have something to subtract my 4 from. Once I have something to subtract from, then I do normal subtraction. I can't take 4 away from 0, so I'm going to go right next door, borrow, regroup. 10 take away 4 gives me 6. 7 take away 2 gives me 5. 3 take away 1 gives me 2. And I end up with an answer of 2.56, or 2 56/100. Now I'm going to practice a few, and this would be the perfect time for you to write down the problem, pause it, and then check yours with mine. Let's try 4 2/10 plus 356 thousandths. So I'm going to line up my decimals. 4 2/10 plus 0.356. And I'm going to make that 4 2/10 an equivalent decimal, it's equal to 4.200. And I'm adding, I bring down my decimal. 6 plus 0 is 6. 5 plus 0 is 5. 3 plus 2 is 5. 4 plus 0 is 4. My answer is 4 and 556 thousandths. Let's try another one. Let's do just 8 minus 1 and 25 hundredths. Oh, and that 8 doesn't even have a decimal in it. But I have to remember that that decimal would really be sitting right behind the whole number. Then I'm going to subtract 1 and 25 hundredths. 8 is the same amount as 8.00. They're equal. So I'm going to put my 8.00 there, and now I can subtract. Bring down my decimal, borrow, regroup, borrow, regroup. I have 10, take away 5 is 5. 9, take away 2 is 7. And 7, take away 1 is 6. My answer is 6 and 75 hundredths. There's quite a few of these you can practice in your math book, but again, the most important thing is line up your decimals and be sure you have something on top that you can subtract from.